a poem by Donna Falls. Every step is holy. The journey from the known to the unknown, from the unreal to the real, is rarely revealed in advance. The potholes, detours, false starts, and quick retreats are each honorable and even needed in the bigger scheme, in the forest that can't be seen between the trees. It took years for me to realize that the very twists and turns and shadows I labeled problems were really sacred ground. Grace disguised as obstacles. The whole paths of pilgrimage. Mysteries bearing themselves before me all along the way. It took years for me to realize the very twists and turns and shadows I labeled problems were really sacred ground. So take a minute to stretch if you like, get some tea, and come back and we'll talk again. Sometimes for me the silence is so nice, I hate to break the silence. Maybe it's this place, it's what the Quakers do, I think. And last week, the title of my talk was Coming Home. Coming Home, mindfulness of the body, as we've been talking about. And how this is really our home, a place to come back to. Our bodies can be like a receptacle for our minds. We can relax and release so that our mind enters our body, but they're not different. Tonight, the title of the talk is Unlocking the Heart through Mindfulness of the Body. We're learning in this practice that being completely here now, in just this moment, is enough. And that this moment is all there is. That's really the beauty of Vipassana practice, insight meditation, which really translates as seeing life clearly, just as it is, adding nothing and pushing nothing away. Sometimes I hear from students that, oh, well, I like sitting still and all, I like insight meditation, but it's really not getting me anywhere. I'm not seeing the white light. I'm not seeing the bliss. I'm not having these out-of-body experiences. So it's oftentimes this very pushing and pulling of the heart wanting something that's not here. already that causes us so much suffering in our lives. Setting up these false ideas and expectations of what should be happening instead of what's really happening right now in this moment. And if we give it a chance, we start to see that there's a lot of amazing things going on in this moment. Sometimes sitting, you may notice when you're really connected with your body, this feeling of aliveness is incomparable to anything else. Fully alive. And there's real peace in this kind of connection. That's where the heart releases, when we stop the anxious wanting and not wanting, or thinking that, oh, I should be having some kind of a experience other than this. Sometimes during a sangha, sitting, meditation, it's nice just to say, okay, just for 20 minutes or for 50 minutes, I'm just gonna try it. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just not gonna have any expectations. I'm not gonna add anything or take anything away. And after the final bell rings, I can do whatever I want. I can just, but sometimes just giving it a try, just seeing for yourself that this moment is sufficient in and of itself. There's nowhere else we have to be, and there's real rest there. You can feel like total rest when we stop arguing with the moment, stop interfering with the moment, and being with it just as it is. In fact, it's that total acceptance, that total release is what really this practice, and really all spiritual practices are about. But as long as we're sitting here thinking that we need to be somewhere else in order to be satisfied, then that's not the practice. The practice is coming back, mindful that we're away, and then coming back again and again. Even to situations that we might find unpleasant or disturbing in some way. What made me think of the title of this talk is somebody sent me a story. It's a children's book. I used to be an elementary school principal, and I had this huge collection of children's books, and I gave a lot of them away. I still have a few around that I'm attached to, but somebody sent me one, and you may have heard of it. It's called The Heart and the Bottle. Does anyone know that story? It's by a children's writer named Oliver Jeffers. But the story moved me in a way. It's a story about this little girl just like any other kid, I'll read part of it, her expansive and exuberant curiosity. Her father offers her, through reading her all sorts of fascinating books about the sea and the stars and the ocean and nature and the wonders of the world. And she goes out with her father, and they explore the galaxies, the nature, they explore the sea, all the beautiful things that are offered. It's really a blissful duo. It's a picture book. I wish I don't have it. But until one day, we realize that the father's gone, and the little girl finds herself facing this empty chair. So there's the chair, and the little girl would always lay on the floor on a rug in front of the chair. Well, now the chair's empty, and the father's gone. So feeling very unsure, and her heart broken, she thought the best thing to do is to put her heart in a safe place. For just the time being, she thinks. So she puts her heart of hearts in a bottle, hangs it around her neck. And that seemed to fix things for a while, at first anyway. But she soon learns that locking away the pain also locks away her capacity for love and for aliveness. She passes by the sea, really doesn't notice, looks at the sky, but really doesn't see, walks through nature, walks through the woods, really doesn't notice any aliveness there. In truth, nothing was the same. She forgot about the stars, stopped noticing the sea, no longer filled with all the curiosities of the world. Didn't take much notice of anything. So one day, she's an adult now, while walking on the beach where she had once strolled blissfully with her father, the girl, now a woman, encounters another little girl sitting on the beach and filled with this boundless and buoyant curiosity that she'd once had, which had once been hers. Suddenly she's reminded of all she lost when she locked away her heart. So she sets out to liberate her heart from this glassy prison, but the bottle has been fortified by years and years of self-protection. The bottle couldn't be broken. There are pictures of her trying to open the top of the bottle, won't open. She gets a hammer, tries to break the bottle, won't break. She climbs a big ladder, gets on top of this brick wall, throws the bottle down on the concrete. Bottle won't break. Finally, she just throws the bottle. It bounced and bounced right down to the sea. But there, it occurred to someone smaller and still curious about the world that she might know a way. It bounced in front of the little girl. So she stood in front of the little girl and saw that innocence once again. And she released all of that protection, opened her heart, and the little girl reached into the bottle and gave her back her heart. So the chair wasn't so empty anymore. I really thought about that story because this practice really is about loving heart. Even loving the things that might seem painful at times. It's the innocence in the sure heart's release. And as I said, much of this work and spiritual work and meditation is about this self-acceptance and love. Maybe all of it is about that. And we can begin to create a bigger space for our hearts, a bigger space for ourselves, much deeper and greater, which holds everything within a boundless space. It's kind of like when you've heard this before, when you take a spoonful of salt and you put it in a cup of water and you drink the water, you can really taste the salt. But if you take the same spoonful of salt and put it in a clear pond or a big pool and then taste the water of the spring, you don't taste the salt at all. And our hearts can be big like that and not divisive. I was telling this story last week about going down I-35 and being cut off by this reckless driver. If you were here, you heard that story, and about arising anger and then coming into my body and feeling the anger and not letting that really dictate the rest of my drive or my evening that night. But it wasn't so much about trying to get rid of the anger. That wasn't the important aspect. The important thing was offering space for the anger, like the salt in the glass of water. When it's really uptight and tense and small, feeling small-minded, you can really taste that salt. You can really feel that emotion, can't you? But if you allow the sensation to be there and allow whatever it is, space to be there, then it's like putting the salt into the big pond. You can drink and you don't taste it at all, but it didn't go anywhere. It's still there. It's just like, but it's there in all this expansiveness, like the sound of the siren. See, it all can be inside, nothing outside. Where we don't contract, get small in that way. So unlocking the heart begins by opening to sometimes a lifetime's accumulation of unacknowledged, sometimes unacknowledged sorrows and pains, both personal sorrows and sorrows of the world. If you watch TV or the news or read on the internet, there are universal sorrows too. Warfare and hunger and old age and death, the heavenly messengers, of course. Sickness, old age, and death. So we learn. The Buddhists describe this suffering in ourselves and of the world as the ocean of human tears larger than the 4 great oceans. It's the expansive noticing of that. This morning, and I was sitting, Anita and I were sitting. She tries to sit, but she's got this awful cold and cough, so she's sitting and coughing. Should we want to do this? Yeah. So we're sitting, and after about 20 minutes of sitting this morning, I noticed that I was holding a tension right under my left shoulder blade. I didn't even know it was there. Don't know how long it's been there. Something maybe accumulated through all these days of Anita having this bad cold or whatever it is, and before that even a friend was at our house and she was sick. I don't know. But it didn't matter, but I didn't even know I was holding it. But after about 20 minutes of sitting, being very mindful of my body, staying in my body, I noticed that. What is that? And there was a little tension. And as soon as I noticed that tension in the shoulder, it released. The shoulder relaxed. The knot that I was holding just... I didn't intend for it to release, but it did. Just by being aware of it. But being not aware of it was causing the problem. Walking around like this all day long with it, what was that all about? Not even noticing. Stephen Levine, one of my early teachers, written many books, and mostly books on death and dying and meditation. He talks about soft belly meditation. So sometimes during the course of the day, if you're feeling tense or tight, sometimes you can just come into your belly and just feel what's going on and soften the belly. A lot of stuff shows up there. For me anyway. I don't know about you, but soft belly meditation. So we unlock the heart when we learn to open up to all of our experiences. As sometimes Anita says, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Opening up to all of our experiences in this present moment. And we don't have to be anywhere but here. So that's the invitation of insight meditation. That's the invitation of vipassana, to show up for our lives. It's the peace of the present moment. So I'll stop there and just ask you all, how's it going? Anybody have any questions about your own practice, sitting or walking or unlocking the heart? Anything I've said about the talk tonight? What makes sense, what doesn't to you?
Is it possible that, so what I've noticed is with the salt in the pond, like you described, that some people their reaction to when some salty stuff comes up is either to harden, and some people their reaction is to make it bigger or to make their heart bigger. I want to understand that a little better.
Yeah, it's more of an inclusive thing. When we're able to allow the salt or whatever it is into our hearts, then the heart naturally expands to be able to hold that. So there's nothing really that we do except receive what our experience of the present moment. The heart itself has the capacity to expand, to hold whatever it is that we are keeping at a distance. So it's that allowing, that's that relaxing and observing and allowing, those instructions that I talk about sometimes that are so important, because once we allow it in, especially into our bodies as a physical sensation and experience, we can experience emotions physically, then the heart will naturally expand to hold whatever it is, the salt or whatever we're experiencing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we don't really have to think about expansive mind or think about trying to make our heart bigger or whatever. We just have to be more inclusive. We just start to include. As we include the heart naturally, it's infinite. There's no boundary to the heart. We just make up artificial fences around it. Does that help?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, just what you were saying. It's that ability to say, and that too.
Yes, and that too. It's a great mantra to keep.
Yeah, and
handy.
that seems to be what provides that extra space to really get a good look at it.
Yes.
And get a chance to feel it. And the good part about that is the space from which the question can arise, well, how much longer do I want to feel like this?
Yes. Because as you say, the story of the little girl in the bottle, we can keep that bottle away, around our neck, away from us for some time. Eventually we're going to see how it's affecting us by not allowing it into our hearts, by keeping it at bay.
Yeah. But it keeps you from having to try to push it away or
Yes.
deny it. Just like, okay, it's there. This
Yeah.
is what it feels like. How long's enough?
In
to
that
feel
too.
like this? Yeah.
And sometimes I'll phrase it, is there space for this too?
Oh.
Or sometimes add nothing. And then, is there space for this? And sure there is. If we make space, if there's naturally space for it. We don't have to create space, it's already there. So yeah, and that too. I mean, who in here doesn't want peace in their hearts and minds? I mean, you wouldn't be here if you didn't. But then we discover that the peace is not out there somewhere. It's not something that we create. It's something that's already here. Like, how is that? And that's why in the Buddhist teachings, the Buddha says, ahipasiko, come and see for yourself, come and see. You can hear the Dharma, you can hear about the present moment experience, but you have to see for yourself because it's your own heart, it's your own heart and mind, it's your own experience. It can't be anyone else's. So you don't have to surrender to anybody, you don't have to pledge allegiance to anybody or anything. It's your own experience. And you make the practice your own. But you have to practice. That's the other sort of paradoxical thing. It does seem to necessitate stillness, and just stillness by I mean stillness of not interfering with anything. And for me, the meditation practice is important. It's important to have a daily practice if you can. Sit some every day. Pause a little during the course of the day. Go into soft belly or into your feet and feel the ground beneath your feet. And somebody else.
Do you, in your day, do you have that, like, the thought of this, like, accepting things into your heart, like, throughout the day? Do you think about that, like, I should accept this into my heart, or this is a nice scene, maybe I should bring this in here? Like, how do you remember, like, to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes it's just that reminder to pause, and sometimes, like Bob said, maybe just a certain little reminder in that too. Maybe it'll be something that you notice, particularly like the sound of a bird, or maybe something you don't like, but you say, and that too, and that too. Is there space for that too? So sort of a willingness to pause and to let life in. I mean, there's lots of distractions. I mean, you know as well as I do. I mean, part of this experience of Anita being sick. You know, she's a real energetic person, if you haven't noticed. And so, you know, things have been kind of different around the house. I mean, you know, so sometimes she didn't want to do anything. She's tired. So there's lots of distractions. Turn on the TV. Have you watched the Gilmore Girls? How many? I saw about 10 episodes. It's really a pretty good show, actually, but you know. But there's lots of ways we can distract ourselves too. Yeah, so believe me, I know. But it was interesting today because when Anita was sitting and she was really mindful of all the feelings in her throat and her chest and all that, she didn't cough. But when, you know, after the bell rang, cough, cough, cough. What was that all about? We talked about it a little. So maybe just being really, really aware of all the arising sensations, not closing down on anything is helpful. This, have you ever read the Meher Baba quote on love? You heard this? I wrote it down today. I was thinking about that book, but Meher Baba was an Indian saint, you might say, mystic many years ago. I think he died in the 60s, actually, but some people that I know knew him. But it has to do with that question that you had about the heart expanding and the salt, you know, in the cup or in the pond. But Meher Baba says, love has to spring spontaneously from within. It is in no way amenable to any form of inner or outer force. Love and coercion can never go together. But while love cannot be forced upon anyone, it can be awakened through love itself. I love that. I kept that with me for years. But can love and coercion can never go together. And that's that unlocking the heart, pushing, grasping, can never, and won't work. That keeps us always on that wheel of wanting this moment to be other than it is. Other questions, sitting, walking. Okay, then we'll end this evening with a loving kindness meditation. It'd be nice following the Mir Baba quote that love has to spring spontaneously from within. So we'll start by listening to some sounds from this beautiful steel drum. So let your eyes close, lean back a little bit, get comfortable for the Metta, and just let the sounds come in. Just allow them to come in. Let the body relax any tensions. Go through your body, notice if you're holding anything, holding on to anything. And just for a moment, let it go. Letting the love spring spontaneously from within. Loving kindness for yourself. May I feel safe. Feel what it feels like. To feel safe now, free from danger and harm. May I feel happy. What does happiness feel like? May I be well in body and mind. And may my heart rest with ease. Rest with ease. Letting go of the rope. And then to all the beings here tonight in the Yellow Dog Sangha, may you also feel safe now. May you feel happy and content. May you be well in body and mind. And may your heart rest with ease. Now letting yourself be loved. Let that love be awakened in your heart, as well as offering it. Now let the boundless heart open to include all beings. Your family, friends, your pets, some people you don't know very well. Many images may come through your mind. But knowing that as I wish to be happy, may all beings be and feel happy. As I wish to be safe, may all beings be safe. As I wish to be well in body and mind, so may all beings be well in body and mind. And as I wish for my heart to rest with ease and well-being, so may all beings' hearts rest with ease. Thank you so much. Just really happy to be here tonight. Announcements. We usually have a Christmas Eve sitting, and then everybody goes out to a restaurant or something. A short sit, but the Quakers use this room on Christmas Eve. Did I say Christmas Eve?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're thinking about maybe the Monday after Christmas, if we can find a place that's open around here to have a short sitting on Monday, which would be the 26th, and then go somewhere and socialize a little bit, which you don't get a chance to do too often. We're working on that. Also, if you're not on our mailing list, I'll try to remember to take it home. Anita usually remembers. I forgot last time. There's a little tablet back there and a pen. You can write your email address, and Anita will put you on the mailing list. She sends out really nice stuff, quotes and messages. And also there's a little box. It's orange and green, and that's for Donna. That these teachings are free, but you can offer donation if you like. It's a heartfelt donation to help us pay the rent and to also pay some expenses for us, the teachers. But that's up to you. So any other announcements? Anybody? All right, well, enjoy this beautiful evening. We'll see you next week.